if the reason, because this was the reason of your predecessor, nung question ko rin ito na sinabi ko sa kanya, bakit ba nagiging mahal yung mga ABC nyo? Ang palagi niyang sinasagot, dollar conversion. But that is not true. Because if that is true, it should have applied to all other vaccines and medicines. Instead na naging mura, mas naging mahal ito at 830 pesos. Honorable Secretary, your comment on this please, and the possible directions that the department can pursue. Maraming salamat po, and
Okay, that's about it, Madam Chair. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the members.
Thank you, Kong Eric. The next interpolator is our Senior Deputy Minority Leader, Congressman Janet Garin. You are now recognized.
yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Magandang hapon po kay Secretary Duque.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
My first question is the agreement and the MOA between DOH and the Civil Service Commission for the Butika ng Barangay program. What's the rationale for this? And why CSC instead of probably DSWD?
With the permission of the Chair, Director Melissa Guerrero is directed to answer the question of via Zoom with your
sino po?
permission. Dr. Melissa Guerrero,
Dr.
Pharmaceutical Division of the DOH.
Dr. Guerrero, you are recognized.
Mukhang hindi yata siya makapasok. Anyway, I was just told by USEC Vergere that we have a MOA that we are aware of with PMP, AFP. Ito po yung para sa mga butika, butika sa bayani, para sa bayani. Pero sa CSC, it's my first time to have come across this. So let me just verify this, Madam Chair. But when Director Melissa Guerrero is able to link, I'm sure she will be able to answer that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you po, Secretary Duque.
Basically, Madam Chair, ang nakarating po, this is of course a memo from your that was sent to me. I'm just going over this now, but it simply says the Butika para sa Taong Bayan, which was established through a memorandum of agreement made and entered into by the Department of Health and the Civil Service Commission. Ang katanungan nga namin, why Civil Service Commission? I mean, why not the Department of Social Welfare and Development if our intention is to really reach the masses? And on top of that, I am in receipt of a document just now that we are reviving the Butika ng Bayan program. My understanding on this before was that many of the funds, karamihan po ng mga butika namatay dahil nga hindi naman po talaga naasikaso at nasunod na. While we are waiting for the one in charge with that, Mr. Chair, may I proceed to another question? Yung pong nagulat po kasi kami nung biglang nakita sa budget na ang laki pala ng ating mga inutang at patuloy na inuutang para po sa pagsugpo ng COVID. Subalit, hindi ko alam kung sasang-ayon kasi sa akin, Mr. Chair, distinguished colleagues, ang naririnig ko po kasi ang hinaing ng ating mga kasamahan, tila hindi ramdam ng tao. So pwede po ba nating malaman magkano ang nautang, magkano ang inuutang, magkano pa ang babayaran ng taong bayan, hanggang kailan ito, at kung nakasangla po ba ang pondo ng kalusugan?
Madam Chair, with your permission, may I request USEC Villaverde to reply to the query.
Sige po, Yusek Villaverde, you are recognized.
Salamat po, Madam Chair. Dalawa po yung ipinasok ng ating gobyerno na loan agreement para sa pagsugpo at pag-prevent ng ating COVID-19. Ito po yung the World Bank loan, which has been signed May of this year, and the ADB loan, which was signed just last week. So medyo nagsisimula na po yung World Bank loan. Ang total loan po sa World Bank is around 5 million, no? Ay 5 billion and 90 million, no? And this project will run up to 2023. No? 3 taon po. Pero by the bulk of the expenditure will be this year until next year to respond to the COVID pandemic. But most of the investment will be on medical equipment and some infrastructure, as well as supplies, no? Laboratory supplies, as well as PPEs to be used by our generally by our health workers. So ang bulk po ng expenditure is this year until next year, no? Now, yung pong mga infrastructure naman ito ay magagamit din even for non-COVID cases kasi nga mga critical care requirement ng ating mga hospital. Now, for the other project, ito po yung ADB, wala pa pong masyadong detalya ito, pero ang total amount po ng loan is 6.3 billion pesos. Ganun din po matatapos sa 2023. And the bulk of the expenditure will generally occur this year until next year. Kasi nga po, COVID response yung main pero hindi po ibig sabihin ay sa COVID lang magagamit yung mga infrastruktura at saka yung mga equipment na i-invest natin dito. Kasi naka-align din po ito at sinigurado namin na naka-align din ito sa pangangailangan ng ating universal healthcare. Medyo na-fast track nga lang po kasi dati unprogram ito, yung mga ibang infrastructure at ibang mga equipment, pero dahil po sa nag-utang tayo sa World Bank at sa ADB, ay nabigyan ng cash backup yung unprogrammed funds na ito.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. May we please request that the committee be furnished a copy of the details
Yes.
of the loan agreement.
COMSEC, take note of that.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Madam, makakaasa po kayo kasi yung sa World Bank, mayroon ng mga details. Yung ADB, inaayos pa po ngayong linggo na to hanggang next week. So, mabibigyan din po namin kayo, Madam.
Yung ang perfected pa lang dito is the World Bank loan.
Opo.
Yung ADB, hindi pa siya.
Nag-sign na po ng agreement ang DOF with the ADB, Madam Chair, Ma'am Janet, pero yung pong detalya inaayos pa ngayon. Opo.
Yeah.
Yung mga nitty-gritty ng anong ipoprocure, ano ang i-invest na mga equipment or infrastructure. Although mayroon na rin
Madam
mga
Chair, that we will be getting a copy of the loan, including the specifics of, it's a total of 11.5 billion loan, no? At yun ang nakikita ko sa papel na natanggap ko nga ngayon. At mapagtanong rin po natin, kasi baka naman kasi minsan kaakibat kasi sa mga utang, mga bagay na hindi kailangan. So gusto po ng komitiba na makita na ito ay kailangan at kasama naman din po doon, baka naman po sang katutak na consultants yung ating i-hire na minsan po napakamahal po ng ganitong gastusin. So we would like to await for
Please
the
provide
document.
us the list of the 11.5 billion loans.
Yes, so the DOH has entered, bale, umutang po tayo ng 11.5 billion sa larangan, sa tawag ng kalusugan, sa World Bank at sa ADB. At yun po, wala nga lang po akong papel, Madam Chair,
Apo.
so I cannot, let me go to my next.
For your information po, Deputy Minority Leader, nasa Zoom na po si Director Guerrero.
Yes, Madam Chair. Let me respond po dun sa Butika ng Bayan query, Madam Chair.
Director Guerrero, you are recognized po. Go ahead.
Yes po. So, just to put a perspective lang po, yung pong Butika ng Bayan for the CSC, I think that was the first version of the Butika ng Bayan na ni-redesign na po ito because we recognized before, nagkaroon nga po ng mga COA findings dahil nga po dun sa mga hindi nagbabalik ng seed capital pag po nagsasara. So we addressed this, we issued a moratorium as early as 2012 in order to address the issues ng COA. And kaya nga po pina-audit at pina-account po sa mga regional health offices kumusta na po yung mga seed capital at pinapaliwanag sa kanila kung bakit po hindi maibabalik yung seed capital. Now, with the redesign of the new Butika ng Bayan, ito po yung revival natin noong 2018. Iba po ang design ito dun sa original Butika ng Bayan na binebenta pa po yung gamot. Kasi yun din po yung COA findings before. Bakit po binebenta pa? Sa mahihirap naman po talaga kailangan itong mga gamot. So, under the new Butika ng Bayan, ito po ay grant na po para po sa mga mahihirap. So, to augment the essential medicines that are being provided by our DOH programs. Kaya lang nga po ngayon din nag-moratorium kami dahil nga po nagkaroon ng cut ng budgets. And then, ang difference din po nito ay requirement po na may license to operate yung po mga RHUs na gustong magtayo. So we have a shared responsibility with the LGU. So sila po yung nag-hire ng pharmacy assistant or pharmacies para po ma-ensure natin na good po yung quality ng ating mga gamot. So ang DOH po ay nagbibigay ng gamot pero responsibility po ng mga local government units, yung pong pagbutihin po yung mga butika na itatayo nila sa kanilang mga RHUs at kung maaari po ay maglagay po sila ng mga pharmacy assistants or pharmacists.
Director Guerrero,
Yes po.
may figures na kayo kung magkano ang nalugi o nawala sa Butika ng Bayan?
Yes po, nag-report po kami sa COA kung ilan po yung naibalik na seed capital. We can furnish the Congress a copy of this.
Oh, please provide us a copy. Magkano po? May anong figure?
I cannot remember po, Madam Chair, so if you can allow us to consolidate the report we previously submitted to COA.
Okay po, please do so. You may continue po.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. May I just request that we be given a copy of the COA findings and the current parameters of the refreshed, no, or renewed butika ng barangay. Kasi sa pananaw ko, bakit nga ba natin binibenta pa yung mga gamot na samantalang kailangan naman talaga siya ipamigay? And why do we have to establish it in other areas, but hindi na lang natin ibigay dun sa rural health centers? At kung i-require naman natin sila na mag-hire pa ng pharmacy assistant, ang dami pong mga maliliit na bayan na wala namang kakayanan na magsweldo. Bakit po ba tila magbibigay tayo ng gamot pero papahirapan pa natin? The rural health centers have municipal health officers. Bakit hindi natin sila bigyan ng kumpiyansa na sila yung gumamit ng gamot para ipamigay sa kanilang mga pasyente? Because if we are going to insist on making a bureaucratic process very difficult, na ultimong gamot na kailangang makuha ng ating sambayan ng mga kababayan, lalo-lalo na dun sa mga mahihirap, nahihirapan po silang mag-avail nito. So what happens is that usually kung hindi pa mag-expire na or hindi pa mauubos na or hindi na magagamit, usually it's either expiring or is not being used at makukuha na, doon pa lang nagkakaroon, no, ng distribution. If the Honorable Secretary can look into this, bakit kailangan pa natin ikomplika? Let's just go back to the medicines being given to the RHUs para naman magamit na nila yon at mapamigay. At ibigay na lang sa mga pasyente, especially at this time of pandemic. Madam Chair?
We'll do that, Madam Chair.
Okay. You consume already your 3 minutes.
Yeah. So
Madam
last
Chair,
question,
Madam Chair,
Yes,
maaari
Vice.
po, 10 seconds pa lang naman po yung naibigay ko kay Deputy Speaker Dan Einstein Fernandez. Kung maaari po yung 1 minute ko po maibigay kay Senior Deputy Minority Leader Janet Garin. Madam Chair.
Noted, Vice Chair Alvarado. Sige
Thank
po,
you.
may additional 1 minute kayo.
yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Secretary, gaano po kaimportante ang mga bakuna para sa senior citizens, lalo na sa pandemyang ito?
Ay naku, napakamahalaga po, Madam Chair, lalo na yung sa mga adult pneumonia at ito po ay karagdagan na proteksyon nila sa panahon ng COVID-19 pandemic. Although it is not a vaccine for COVID-19, pero alam po naman natin na kapag nagkaroon ng mga sakit ang mga matatanda, they're more prone or vulnerable to all sorts of bacterial types of pneumonia, and among them would be the strep pneumonia. So a protection for this is really in order, Madam Chair.
So malinaw po, Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues, napaka-importante ng bakuna kontra sa pneumonia sa mga bata at sa mga matatanda dahil sa panahon nga ng COVID, although hindi ito bakuna laban sa COVID-19, pero ito ay bakuna laban sa mga pneumonia at mga sakit na pwedeng maging komplikado ang COVID pag nagsama-sama ito. Kaya nagtataka po ako, Mr. Chair, distinguished colleagues, kasi sa panahon ng pandemya, tila naging mahal ang pneumonia vaccine. Kung dati-rate, ibinibili natin ang PCV13 ng 770 pesos bawat isang bakuna, isang dose, tila ngayon, ang procurement price niya ay nasa 830 pesos. At kung ikukumpara natin yung presyo ng 770 pesos, bumili tayo ng 1.9 million doses ng bakuna kontra pneumonia. Pero ngayon, from 770 pesos, bumili tayo ng 5.9 million. From 1.9 million doses, bumili tayo ng 5.9 million doses, subalit, ang presyo na 770 pesos bawat bakuna ay naging 830 pesos. Di po ba pag bumipili tayo ng mas maraming bakuna, mas nagiging mura? And surprisingly, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, it's coming from the same company and the same supplier. Ibig sabihin, we have the economies of scale which is not happening at this point of time. Ano po ba ang komplikasyon nito? Pagka po nagiging mahal ang bili natin ng mga bakunang pinangangailangan, kukonti ang makakabenepisyo. Moreover, Mr. Chair, yung isa namang ginagamit ng ating mga senior citizens, kung dati-rate, 342 pesos ang bili natin bawat dose, ang naging presyo ngayon is 524 pesos. A difference of, sorry Mr. Chair, medyo mahina-hina ako sa math, pero klarong-klaro po dito, uulitin po natin, sa panahon ng pandemya dapat mas mura ang bili natin, lalo na't pagka mas marami ang binibili natin. Dahil kailangan nating i-spread yung pera ng sambayanang Pilipino. Subalit, ipinapakita dito sa dokumento na ngayon nga ibinigay sa akin dahil gusto itong iparating ng ating mga kasamaan sa Kongreso na kung nung taong ang dating bili ay 342 pesos, ngayon ang bili ng bawat bakuna sa pneumonia para sa mga senior are 524 pesos. Doon naman sa ating pneumonia vaccine for children, kung dati ang bili is 770 pesos at 1.9 million lang doses ang binili, ngayon naman dumami ang binili, 5.9 million doses. Instead na naging mura, mas naging mahal ito at 830 pesos. Honorable Secretary, your comment on this please, and the possible directions that the department can pursue. Maraming salamat po, and
Secretary Duque, please
Yes, thank you,
respond.
Madam Chair. I just request, with your permission, for Secretary Yusek Mirna Kabutahe to please respond to the query.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair.
Ano naman ito ngayon?
Totoo po yung sinabi ni Congresswoman Garin na tumaas yung presyo ng PCV. We're talking the pneumonia vaccine for the 9 to 59 months ng 868 sa aking datos. Tumaas siya from 700 to 800. We did the bidding, pero naka-single dose kasi ito. Ang ginagawa natin ngayon, and there was only one company, if I remember right, that was able to fulfill the criteria for PCV-13. Kaya po rin-review natin ngayon yung ibang pneumonia vaccine, pina-review po ng ating secretary through the health technology assessment, na imbis na sabihin po na PCV-13, inaral po nila na yung mga serotypes na 1, 4, 5, 6B, etc., which are both in another vaccine, yun na lang po ang ilagay natin. Tapos gagawin na pong multidose vial. Kaya po bababa na yung presyo niya. Doon po naman sa flu vaccine, ang kuha po natin ng flu vaccine for 2020 ay 184 pesos per dose. Yung pneumonia vaccine for senior citizen, 524. Wala pong WHO pre-qualified na vaccine. These are locally available. Tinaasan po ang presyo because of the shortage. Bumibili ho tayo ng 750,000 doses, pero ang maibibigay lang ng company was 450 because there is a shortage worldwide. So they increased the price because of the shortage, global shortage.
Madam Chair, if I may be allowed to just quickly interject, no, that was supposed to be my last question.
You are recognized, CONG Janet.
With due courtesy to the DOH family. Una-una po, ang global shortage kasi, minsan ginagawang rason yan palagi at palagi siyang nagiging reason para taasan yung presyo. But vaccines are not sold that way. It's highly regulated. At alam naman po natin na kapag bakuna ang pinag-uusapan, iisa lang po ang presyo ng buong mundo, depende kung ano yung antas ng ating bansa. That's why if you put an ABC, kung ilalagay mo yung ceiling price na 524 pesos, syempre yung bidder, kasi alam naman natin isa lang ang supplier ng PPV-23, prepresyohan niya ng sagad. We are giving them the opportunity to jack up the price because we are putting an ABC that is so high. So kung babalikan po natin ang PPV-23, which is a pneumonia vaccine for senior citizens, isa lang po ang supplier. Tama po kayo doon. But the government is the biggest procurement entity. Kaya mas kaya natin makipag-negotiate sa kanila kesa na tayo ang nagpapatali. We cannot just accept their reason that there is global shortage because you have FDA that control their permits and government can actually regulate prices. Bottom line is, kung binili natin ng 342 pesos taon-taon at biglang sasabihin natin, ay, sabi ng supplier, walang stock, kaya tataasan nila ng 524. Madam Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I was part of the DOH family before, and every year, I encounter those comments. Sasabihin walang stock, sasabihin hindi sila makakasupply. What we do is we just bid it out with that price. And mind you, they will bid commensurate to the dictated ABC of the Department of Health. Moving forward, Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues, yung kanina sa PCV-13, with due courtesy to our DOH officials, ang sabi nyo, bababa siya kasi magiging PCV10.
Madam Chair, can I
Yes
answer?
po.
Hindi po. We are, baka bumaba yan because we are not, hindi po between PCB10 and PCB13. We are just saying that it will be a competitive bidding. Imbis po na diretsong yung specification ay pointing to PCB13, we put serotypes that are present in both. Bahala na kung sino yung mananalo because it will now be a multi-dose vial. So we put so our formulary, ma'am, will now have the serotypes minimum 1, 4, 5, 6B, 7F, 9B, 14, 18C, 19A, 19F, and 23F, which are both in PCB10 and PCB13. So bahala na ho sila kung sa bidding, kung paano ang bid price, it will be through public bidding po. And it will now be a multi-dose.
Just to align, Yusek Mirna, let us laymanize what you are saying. Ang sinasabi niyo po, ito ang PCV10, ito ang PCV13. Dalawa sila na pwedeng bilhin ng gobyerno. Pero magkaiba ang dalawa. Pag sinabi nating PCV10, it covers 10 serotypes. If we say PCV13, it covers 13 serotypes. So you cannot compare apples and oranges. Dapat po kasi pareho sila. What I'm pointing here is the fact that we have been procuring in 2016, in 2015, we have been procuring 770 pesos as the unit cost of PCV13. Pero, binili natin siya na ngayon ng 830 pesos last year. Same PCV13, same vaccine. Ito 5.9 million doses, ito 1.9 million doses. Hindi po ba pag dumami ang binibili mo, you have economies of scale, dapat mas mura ito. Pero bakit na from 1.9 million doses, ginawang 5.9 million doses, from 770 pesos, naging 830 pesos. The same supplier, the same company, and mind you, we only have one supplier for PCV13 because in many vaccines, isa lang po talaga ang manufacturer. They don't compete with each other because research is very expensive. That is why the Department of Health is very important in putting a cap on how much is the ABC. Kasi pag linagay natin yung ABC dyan na 830, isa lang yung supplier, pero presyo nila ng 830. Pag pero nilagay mo dyan 770, ano ang basis? Last year yan ang bili 2014, 15, 16, 770 ang bili. Bakit biglang magiging mahal? The price difference is 60 pesos. 60 pesos times 5.9 million, o ilagay mo ng 4 million, that's 240 million pesos. Yun yung, thank you Mr. our distinguished colleague, iba na talaga ang pogi, no? Magaling pa sa math, no? So ang punto ko dito, we cannot always say that the reason is, yan ang kanilang bid price. Because if you remember, when we were working together, we were always very particular sa ABC. Pag sinabi natin, ito yung, ang PCV10 at PCV13, parang kape yan. 3-in-1 yung isa plain coffee. You cannot compare the prices of two. Because PCV10 is simpleng kape, PCB13 is 3-in-1. Hindi mo pwedeng i-compare yun. So that cannot be a reason na by next year, by this year, magiging mura na to. Kasi instead of PCB13, bumili, pag nagpabid ka at sabihin mong kape, mas mahal ang 3-in-1 kesa sa coffee stick. But my question here is, 3-in-1 plus 3-in-1, the same brand, the same supplier, the same manufacturer, from 1.9 million doses, we bought it at 5.9 million doses. Why did it become more expensive by 60 pesos? Ang sa akin lang po dito, Mr. Chair, I do agree that in a pandemic, napakarami po ng trabaho at baka na-overlook ito. But every peso, every dollar, every centavo that is used on overpriced medicines, vaccines, and commodities, is actually medicines and vaccines commodities taken away from many Filipinos who are in need of these vaccines. Dahil hindi naman po natin nabibigyan lahat, pinipili lang natin kung mas marami yung nabibili, mas magbebenepisyo po ang taong bayan. Maraming salamat, Madam Chair.
Thank
you
you
very
po.
much.
Thank you po, Congresswoman Janet. Follow up lang nga po, Yusek Mirna. Sino po ang manufacturer ng gamot na binabanggit ni Kong Janet at sino ang supplier natin? Opo, sa PC-10, PC-13.
Ang PCB13 is Pfizer. Hindi ko masyadong alam yung mga supplier, but we know it's PCB13. Pfizer yata. I don't have the...
So, ang PCB13 is Pfizer.
Yeah. Madam Chair, if I may, no, just to, okay. Ang PCV po kasi is pneumonia, pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. Ito po yung bakuna, and dahil nag-evolve yan, nag-start tayo, I think we started with PCV7. Yung number po, yan yung serotypes na nako-cover. Kasi maraming klase eh. Parang yung isang virus, marami siyang serotype. So, yung number is the number of serotypes covered. So, nag-start tayo ng PCV. Nakalimutan ko, I think PCV7. There's a manufacturer for that. Then, nag-evolve to PCV10. That's supplied by GSK. Then, nag-evolve to PCV13. That's Pfizer. Siyempre, kung may nangunguna na dito, nawawala na yung market ng mga ito. Kaya nga, pag bumibili ka na dito ng PCV13, which covers more, siyempre, babalik ka dito. Then, I think there's already development of PCV25. Ganun po. Pero ito hindi pa commercially available, but will be commercially available soon. But my point is, same vaccine, same company, bigger volume, smaller volume, lower price, bigger price. Kasi, whatever it is, ang supplier yan. Pag sinabi mo, ito yung alcohol, ang ABC namin dito is 100 pesos, they will bid at 99.5, lalo na siya isa lang. So, but if you put the ABC at 80 pesos, kasi ang presyo niya talaga is 80 pesos, they will bid at 80 pesos.
Kaya nga po yun ang tanong ko kung sino ang manufacturer. Kasi baka iisa lang naman ang manufacturer ng gamot na ito, kaya kaya niya i-monopolize yung presyo. Kasi wala naman siyang kaagaw sa bidding. Diba? Wala ang pwedeng mas bumaba sa 830.
That's why, Madam Chair, importante yung ABC because the government is the biggest customer of all companies. So mas hawak mo sila kasi you can always tell them you're not going to give, magbibid din sila at magbibid. No, and in terms of shortage, it only happens if we are not forecasting. Because you always order ahead. Parang alam mo nang kasi na ang bakuna, they produce it before you can get it. So, a year prior or 2 years prior, you already do forecasting and you do orders. So basically, Madam Chair, I actually was not planning to ask this. It's just that this was a concern put forward by other members and was given to me. Kaya ipinarating ko na lang SEC, no? Kasi I'm getting information from many colleagues na nangihinayang sila na hindi po ba sayang na mas marami because if you are talking about 240 million pesos, mas marami ang maho-cover. If an excess, let's say in PPV 23, from 342 and 524 pesos, that's an excess of around 180 pesos per dose. So with 1 million doses, that's 180 million. Eh, ilan na ang pwedeng mabigyan ng bakuna? Dahil if you remember, the other congressmen in your earlier discussions with them were clamoring for vaccines for their senior citizens and their children. So yan lang po, Madam Chair, and I believe that the DOH will have the leadership to look into this so that when we put in ABC, it will really be the ABC that is commensurate to the actual price.
Thank you, Kong Janet. Now,
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
Secretary
just
Duque.
think Yusek Mirna would like to have a rejoinder, and then after which I reassure the chair and the committee that we will look into this and report as to how the seeming overpricing has come about, and we will have this looked into very carefully and expeditiously, and give you, again, with my reassurance that we will give you a full report.
Thank you, Secretary Duque. Now,
Yes,
you may
Mr.
proceed, Yusek Mirna.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Yung proseso po ng pag-determine ng ABC, ang unang kino-consider yung previous price. Pagkatapos po, pinapadaan po sa market study kung ano yung available. So, bigay sa procurement service at yun ang presyo at walang kakagat doon sa presyo, and then we are forced to increase the price. Ganun po ang nangyayari. I think what they have considered during that time, globally, nag-increase ng price sa market ng mga vaccine, and they might have looked at the dollar fluctuation. So, but we will, as the Secretary said, we will have to look at the process of how the ABC is being determined, because it's not only the program that looks into it, nagma-market study, the procurement service looks into it, it's even also reviewed by the pharmaceutical division to look at ano yung price that is prevailing in the market.
Yeah, Madam
thank you
Chair,
po.
if I may be allowed, as a rejoinder, Yusek Mirna, Sec Pinkoy, if the reason, because this was the reason of your predecessor, nung question ko rin ito na sinabi ko sa kanya, bakit ba nagiging mahal yung mga ABC nyo? Ang palagi niyang sinasagot, dollar conversion. But that is not true. Because if that is true, it should have applied to all other vaccines and medicines. Also, in the country, in the Philippines, dollar fluctuation is not our problem. That's the problem of the companies. They adjust it kasi if their currency in their main company is dollars, when they go to various countries, umiiba rin naman ang kanilang cost. So dollar fluctuation is never a problem of the procuring entity. It's always a problem of the company, and they have a manner of doing that. Kaya nga po, wala tayong adjustment ng currency fluctuation in our procurement methods because we price it. Our ABC is not dollars. Our ABC is pesos. We should not be absorbing the problems of foreign companies.
Kong Janet, you already consumed 12 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Madam. As I've said, we will look into this.